I'm Jordan Ramsley, and welcome to Cookin with Jordan Ramsley. And today, we're making a perfect risotto. Oh, well it's about fucking time. Today, we're making a beef Wellington. Growing up with my older sister in Hunt Valley, Maryland, my mother would cook a beef Wellington all the time because it was my father's favorite dish. But the beef is completely frozen. So, let's go ahead and start with the sides. Today, we're going to do a rice pilaf and a Brussels sprout. Now, it's common knowledge that Brussels sprout is just dehydrated cabbage. So here we have our whole head of cabbage. And our dehydrator. Just put the whole cabbage in there and set it for extreme dehydration. And while that's dehydrating, let's go ahead and make the rice pilaf. The requirements for making a proper rice pilaf are as follows. Step 1, you need to make some regular white rice. Step 2 is you need to get some egg yellows to put in there. Now, to prepare the egg yellows, do it the normal way that I've showed you before, but you just let the clear gunk kind of slop off. You don't need it. The only thing that the clear is used for is to really hold the rice together, but because this rice is sticky enough, you don't really need it. You just need the yellows to mix in there. Once you got your yellows free and clear of any clear, and you go ahead and just plop them in. Get them off your hands. Alright, then you need a little bit of salt. And a tiny dash of some sprinklings. Perfect. Then you just mix it all together. Now, this rice pilaf isn't exactly as yellow as I'd like it, so it's okay to cheat a little bit. Just put a couple of drops of yellow food coloring. Mix all that up in there too. And there you have a rice pilaf. And to set the eggs, you just put it in the oven for just a few minutes on 500 degrees. Now that we have the rice pilaf all prepared and finishing up in the oven, let's prepare the beef roast. Here I have an excellent cut of beef roast. We just need to take some twine and wrap it up, because as we're cooking it, it'll fall apart and the twine will keep it together. Let me just find some real quick. Do we not have any twine? What do you mean? We finally have the beef roast and now we don't have any twine? Give me a second. Oh, here we go. Oh, this will work perfect. All right. Now, you just take your beef roast, roll it up, and you just take your twine, and you want to wrap it up real good. You do not want this thing falling apart. Keep all the moisture and juice inside of it. Alright, then we'll just set this off to the side. And let's prepare our prosciutto and duxelles. Next, we're going to prepare the prosciutto and the duxelles for the beef Wellington. First, you want to take a few mushrooms and finely chop them. Now that your mushrooms are finely chopped, we have what we call a duxelles. Then you want to prepare your prosciutto. I believe I showed you in another episode of Cookin with Geordin Ramsley how to properly prepare prosciutto. We're just going to do that again. You take ham, body temperature, and draw it out with a little salt. Then you take your duxelles and you just put it on top of the ham, which has now become prosciutto. Then, once you have your duxelles and prosciutto all prepared, you take your beef roast and you just take and you put it on top. And now, the last step before we put it in the oven is we have to prepare the puff pastry. The final step before we put the beef Wellington in the oven is we want to make a puff pastry. Now, a puff pastry is very easy to make. You just take a little bit of flour, and then just add a little bit of water. And then you make a dough out of it. Alright, looks like we got a nice dough going. The final step you want to do before you apply it to your beef Wellington is to let your dough rise. Just a little bit. Don't want to let it rise too much. So we'll set this to the side and we'll go check our Brussels sprout. A little bit of time has passed since we set our cabbage on to dehydrate, so let's check on the Brussels sprout. Oh yes. Oh, this is perfect. An excellently dehydrated cabbage. This is exactly what we want. I'll just set it over here next to the rice peel-off, so then when we finish with our beef Wellington, we can plate it and it'll be ready to eat. Join us next week when we make a beef Wellington.
Join us next time when we make a beef Wellington.
Join us next time when we cook a beef Wellington. Join us next time when we make a beef Wellington. Join us next time when we make a beef Wellington. Join us next week when we make a beef Wellington. The last step for the beef Wellington is to take the puff pastry that we've let rise a little bit. Just kind of stretch it out. Stretch it out, get it nice and wide. Put it on, smear it across the whole beef Wellington. This looks amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a more delicious beef Wellington. This might be the best beef Wellington I've ever made. And I made it on my show. That's awesome. Now, we just take it, we put it in the oven. Set the oven for, I don't know, 400 degrees for 30 minutes. And then we just let the timer go down, and then by the time that the beef Wellington is done, we'll have it all set. Go, go, go! Let's go, let's go! It's gone. It's all gone. Are we rolling? I'm Jordan Ramsley. Join us next season when we make a second attempt at a Beef Wellington.